Good morning, hello and welcome to Travel Counsellors. My name is Jayne Marlor and I'm one of the TC Liaison Officers here at Venus, our head office of Travel Counsellors in sunny Manchester. So I just want to welcome you all today to this very, very special show. Our mission at Travel Counsellors is to be the most caring company in the world, and in that vein we want to hold a special programme today for all our travel industry colleagues at Flybe who sadly went into administration the early hours of last Thursday morning. And if our mission is to be the most caring company in the world, what we wanted to do today is do a special programme to support our colleagues and to give lots of support to those thinking, what happens next, where am I, what am I thinking, where am I going, where's my future lie? And we appreciate totally that this is a very, very sad and unsettling time for our colleagues out there in the industry. So to help me do that today, I have some experts on the sofa with me who I'd like to introduce you to. So I've got my colleague Darren who is also a TC Liaison Officer here at our head office. I also have Leanne Stant, who is also our mindset and coach for the business. And also we've got Angela Paskin, who is in our recruitment team. So they're all here to support us today. So I guess I just want to start by saying that what happened last Wednesday, early hours Thursday morning is very, very close to quite a few of us on this sofa's hearts. Myself and Darren went through this last September. The 23rd of September, I think, will always be sketched in our minds because we went through exactly the same from a Thomas Cook perspective. And God, I think when that happened last Wednesday night, I think many of the ex-Thomas Cook people, in fact, anybody that's actually been through that scenario, I think we all sort of relived that for the evening and was constantly glued to the news, and our hearts completely went out here. And so many of our ex-colleagues were posting messages on Facebook because we knew how it felt, just glued to the news, waiting to see what's going to happen with all the speculation and all the media. And then sadly, obviously, getting the final news early hours of the morning. And certainly from my point of view, after 34 years with Thomas Cook, it was devastating, complete shock. I think I literally shook for 24 hours. I cried and sobbed. In fact, I don't think I've cried that much since losing my mum. It was just the most horrific time. And so genuinely, those feelings are so very, very raw, as it's only just shy of 6 months away since it happened to us. And Darren, I know you was in exactly the same place, but you had a slightly different situation to me, didn't you?
Yeah, see, my wife was also a sales consultant for Thomas Cook, so obviously between the two of us, I was 26 years, she was 25 years, and it was literally life-changing. What happens next? I've still got a mortgage to pay, I've still got bills to pay, what do I do now? And it was a job that you thought you were securing for the rest of your days. So, you always had that thing of mum and dad telling you, find a job that you can live in forever. Well, actually, we thought we had that. So I think for me, when I think of everybody at Flybe, I totally on the same page. Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. And I know they're going to be going through some horrible thoughts, some feelings, some emotions, and what happens next. Yeah. And I think, do you know what, that there's a lot of people that have been in the same boat. So please reach out to us. Yeah. And use your friends, use your family. Yeah. Because they're the best support network you can have. Yeah,
absolutely. And I want to go over to Leanne now, because Leanne, I think very close probably to the Flybe colleagues' hearts. You was at Monarch and went through exactly the same thing. So do you want to tell us about your experience?
Yes, and I just want to reiterate what you were saying, Jayne, both, that when you're in travel together, and it's a massive community. So this happened 6 months for you guys, which was horrendous. And then, so it's been like well over 2 years for us. But like when we lost our company, same as you, went into denial, no, it can't be happening to us, even though we had like the rumblings for a little while, I think the same as what you guys had. It was massive, it was enormous. And then we, as travel counsellors, supported Thomas Cook through their time. And again, you are absolutely right. The minute that happened, I went right back to when it was us. And now I feel like I've been hit 3 times, and even though it's not affected me directly this time for Flybe, it has, because you can't help but love the people in our business, and this is what's happened, isn't it? But what I will say, and I hope today the guys will get a lot out of what we're going to talk about today, is you guys really benefited from travel counsellors and the support that the care community offered, didn't you? And us as a massive big team. But we're in it together. We're in it together. So, you know, it could be any one of us. And I think particularly now we need to be that support network for everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's really what our show's about today, as the most caring company and our mission to be so. What we wanted to do is just reach out today and give some support to our colleagues. If I could just have the slide up on the screen, please. So the next one, please. So what we're looking to do in terms of supporting today is we're going to look at a little bit of a career management workshop. So first and foremost, I'm going to talk to you about coping with change. And then Leanne is going to be talking to you about mindset and how we can manage that better. And from a support perspective, we've also got some great tools, which Darren's going to be talking you through later on. And then Ange from our recruitment team will also talk to you about our business model, just in case that travel counsellors is an option that you want to consider. But if not, we hope that the support that we can give you today really will help you in your journey. So let's talk about our first topic then. And some of you might have seen this before and some of you might not. If we could have the next slide, please. So it's coping with change. And, you know, it doesn't matter whether you're going through something like you're going through now from a work perspective, but this also applies in life as well. And I think it's close to many of our hearts, and perhaps, you know, some of you will have seen this in different scenarios, but there's no better time right now, certainly, and myself and Darren can talk out of experience about that, than looking about where you are at that change curve. So we're not even a week down the line yet. So let's look at the emotions that we go through. And I think what's important is at the moment you're all in the shock stage. And that is really, really, you know, God, so everybody will deal with it differently, but there's anger, there's upset, there's, you know, there's a range of emotions that go from being numb to all sorts. And that initial shock can last, you know, so for some people it can last a day, some people it can last a week, and for some people are, you know, certainly from our old world are still feeling that now. So, you know, I think that it will affect people in different ways, and it is normal to feel these feelings. I think that's the one thing that I want to get across, and, you know, and everybody will feel emotion in a different way and react to the shock in a different way. The next stage really that we look at in terms of coping with change on this change curve is denial. And again, you know, gosh, even talking about it now, you know, I can really relate to some of these feelings, because that denial feeling that you have, that how can this be happening? You know, after having my career and you know, with being with a company for so many years, or even if you'd only been with them 2 years, when you're happy in a career and you're loyal to that brand and loyal to that business and you've made so many friends, the denial that you're in. And I think often, you know, how I coped with the denial was I wanted to surround myself with people that was in the same boat and felt the same things as me at that same time. You know, I wanted the people around me to almost, I guess, make me feel better, the fact that I was in that denial. This can't be happening. You know, how can this be? You know, and I think this is all part of coping with the change and also adapting to the shock that you've just been through. And then another part is resistance. And, you know, that resistance to, I guess it goes in line really with denial. It's like that resistance to the fact that, you know, this thing has happened. You've got to come to terms with it. But actually at the resistance stage, you don't want to come to terms with it. You want to mope about. You want to feel angry still, you want to feel upset, or actually you just can't be bothered with anything or anybody. And the only people you want to talk to are the people that are going to sympathise with you because they're going through the same thing. But also, I remember so well with regards to this resistance part. And I remember so many people turning around and saying to me, Jayne, stop worrying. You're good at your job, you're going to be all right. And I swear to God, that was like a red rag to a bull, because I just thought, do not say that to me right now, because you're not in this position, you don't know how I feel. And I guess that's that real resistance that come out, and, you know, even saying things, you'll be fine, you'll get another job. It's like, don't say that to me. Don't say that to me right now. I am not ready. And I can really relate to this change curve now in terms of, you know, perhaps the emotions that some of you guys are feeling at the moment. Not everybody gets to this next place, but gets close. And again, it depends on the individual. But, you know, there is a place where you will perhaps hit that rock bottom place. What does that feel like? Well, it feels different for many, many people. It can feel that you're really low in energy, lacking in motivation, really just sad, can't be bothered. It's not a nice place to be, certainly feeling rock bottom. And, you know, some of you might have already hit that place already after nearly a week, because the realisation is what's happened to you is there. And some of you might just skim over that place. But again, it's very, very individual. Again, it's important for me to say here, everybody will react differently to change, and everybody will go at this at a different place. But whatever that feeling is, where you are right now, it is perfectly normal to feel that way. Now, at some point, us as human beings, you know, we find a way to be resilient. We find a way to, I guess, start coming to terms with what's happened to us. And the next part of the change curve really is just that, and that's acceptance. And, you know, it takes a little bit of time, but it could be just little things like coming to terms of sitting there one day and thinking, do you know what, I might dust my CV off. I might start thinking about updating that CV, or I might start just having a little look at job websites. Or it might be even, I might just register for that careers fair. You know, it's little steps that you will take where you will then start to recognise yourself as coming into, I guess, accepting the fact that this has happened and that nothing's going to change. And actually the realisation that, you know, at some point you're going to need to start thinking about your future. And that leads then nicely into your development and thinking about, right, okay, where am I? What does my future hold? What do I want to do? You know, what journey am I going to go after? And what I would say here as well at this point, again, only talking out of my own experience and certainly talking to the people that were impacted from what happened to us, is there was many people in this place between acceptance and development that just thought, that's it, leaving travel. That's it, I've had enough. Travel's not the place to be anymore. I've had enough. All this change that we go through in the travel industry, it's just not fair. And actually, what I will say is that you might be feeling those thoughts, and that's okay. But what I would also say is that we can talk, myself and Darren, that 6 months down the line, we've seen that. We saw people joining the NHS, you know, different other companies. And actually now, 6 months later, they're craving to get back into travel because, as Leanne said, travel is, you know, it's a close-knit community. It runs through our veins. It's something we are all so passionate about. And, you know, if that's the journey that you choose to go on, great. And, you know, but I think this is, think long and hard about where you want to go and where you want to be. And it's easy to just take a job or look at careers or jobs that maybe you just think that'll do for now. And if that's what you feel needs to happen, that's okay. But try and think about it longer term as well. And go with a company that resonates with you. Go with a company that's got your values. But that's all part of that acceptance and development stage. And then I guess if we could just go back to the other slide, thank you. We get to the application stage. So I think this is the bit for me where it's apply yourself time. It's when we start to think a little bit more positively. We're getting our confidence back. You know, we're starting to believe, actually, you know what, I am good at what I do. So do you know what, I'm going to put myself out there and I am going to go for it. And, you know, that positive mental attitude returns. I guess that normality returns, even though what's happened is still there. You're in a better place to start thinking about, right, I am determined now. I am going to get myself back out there. I'm going to hold my head high, and I'm going to, you know, I'm going to walk out there with confidence. And you really then start to apply yourself and start thinking about, right, okay, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to secure my future now for the better. And if we could just move to the next slide, please. The next slide, I guess, is the same words, the same things that we've just talked about. But I guess what it really shows for me is that again, everybody as an individual will take this, I guess, coping with change curve differently. But it can also be a very, very up and down line, as you can see there. And you might get to the place where you hit rock bottom, but then you get back into sort of the, I don't know, the acceptance change, you get back up to development, then something might happen that knocks you back down again. So it might be, you know, that change curve can go up and down. It will be different for everybody. But again, that's okay. That is absolutely normal and absolutely fine. But I guess that I'm hoping that now a lot of you might be listening to this and thinking, yeah, that's the bit that I'm on at the minute. Yeah, that's where I am. But I think it's recognising where you are on this change curve is really, really important. So, Leanne, what have you got to cover off that might help the guys around mindset?
So the reason why I wanted to be part of today's experience really is, and this is something that I've already spoken about in a travel counsellor capacity, but also for Thomas Cook, is what did I want or what did I need when it happened to me? So I reflect, I'm a reflector anyway, and I really wanted to think, right, what if this was to happen to anyone, what advice could I actually give? And so I've also got a slide, guys, if you don't mind just popping up. For me, please. So we've got, there's a few up there, but basically the first one is to have pace, purpose and a plan. And I think, you, like Jayne said, you're all going to be at different stages on your change management curve right now. And it is right to stick with the guys right now. When you're in the shock phase, you need to have that community feel. You need to be having consolation with everybody. You need to be consoling each other. But at some point, you will recognise that there'll be a change. So some people will be going for interviews, some people will be going back to uni or might be going back to a job that they did previously. And there'll be those Facebook updates. Oh, I found myself a new career path, you know, blah, blah, blah. Actually, some people will be still at the shock and denial phase and not at that part of the journey. So it's kind of at this point to think, right, where do I want to be? And have that reflection time. Get yourself a purpose and get yourself a plan. Now, it doesn't matter if it takes weeks and weeks and weeks. Take control of the situation that you can take control of, because I think at this point, when you lose your job, for me, Monarch Airlines, I was there for nearly 21 years plus, and that was my life. I got married there, I had kids there, I had best friends there. You know, it was the company that I joined when I was 22. Obviously, you can guess my age now, but let's just leave that where it is. But I needed a plan, because with Monarch I had a plan. I got to a stage in my career that I was really, really happy with, and I needed to find me again. So yeah, pace, purpose and plan. Pace as in your own pace and not at anybody else's pace. Everyone's on their own journey with that. So choose the best version of yourself to take forward. This is a reboot. This is like a big old kick up the bum, actually. And as much as it feels like it's horrendous right now, and it will, and it'll feel like that for ages, actually look at Jayne and Darren now. You know, who knew that you guys were going to be here with us? You think you are in a business. Monarch Airlines was life for me. I didn't think for 1 minute I was going to be leaving that company. Not 1 minute. I thought I would develop and grow old and be like American Airlines cabin crew who stay there forever, you know, and we bend down and crick my knees and stuff. It obviously didn't happen. But look where I am and look where you guys are as well. So there's Andrew's cabin crew as well, just by the way. We're the best, just saying. And you know, there's always that opportunity. So yeah, choose the best version of you. It's a time now where you can reflect, take action and make that happen. Also, you've got some time on your hands, which you probably never had. You know, you get your rosters. We used to have rosters, 6-week rosters, and we knew exactly when our days off were. You know, now you've got time where you can get back to the gym. You know, watch a bit of loose swimming. Why not? Watch the cookery channels. Just do a little bit of that time for you where you can just, you know, learn new skills and apply them and cook that tea. Maybe not. I didn't like doing that. But, you know, you've got to recharge and reconnect with friends and family, have some time on your own. I'm a massive fan of meditation, so I did a lot of meditation and mindfulness, which is brilliant, which we can share. We have a guide later on which we can share some information with you as well. Jayne's already spoken about resilience. Resilience is tough. You have to have a real growth mindset to be resilient, and actually all the knocks that you receive in your life, sounding like I'm a grandma now, but all the knocks that you have make you stronger the next time. So now it's the time to gain that resilience and have that extra power in your back pocket, you know, become that person that you want to be. For me, honestly, I think I was a little bit in denial for a long time. And I don't want to say bitter, but I kind of feel like I probably was as well. Because I had a team who I looked after, and I promised them the world pretty much, because I never thought in a million years it was going to happen. And I couldn't change it. So afterwards I realised that actually I could only take control of my own behaviour. And so I couldn't change what happened to the business. You can't change what happens to our industry, but you can change how you choose to behave. So it's a positive mindset all the way. There's no second guesses with that one. So reach out and take a leap into the unknown. And I know Angela will talk in more detail, but our travel counsellors here, and it's entirely up to you which you decide to do, but our travel counsellors are absolutely amazing. Like, they are amazing. We had a conference in Manchester this year, and there was a saying, and it says, you know, take the leap, there's always going to be a net. And I thought, God, that's so true. But when you're institutionalised in your industry, so Monaco Airlines, I was institutionalised big time, like I didn't see past the purple glasses, and yellow actually in the end. But there's life out there. There's life out there, and our travel counsellors are proven. It's proven that there's life after the industry, the business that you've been in. So expect new experiences and take on the new challenges. And just to reiterate again what Jayne said, you have to surround yourself with people who champion you. I totally agree. Right now, in the shock phase, stay with the guys that you can be supported with. However, and this is a little bit harsh, and I don't mean to be harsh, but it's all about you, not about them. It's your journey, not their journey. So if someone's dragging that conversation down, say on WhatsApp, or, you know, it's horrible right now. Every day is going to be a struggle at the moment, but only at the moment. So once you're feeling a little bit more positive on your change curve, then go with that. Don't let anybody else drag you down. I think that's the time you kind of need to detach from maybe the groups that you're in. Not now, but you'll know when the time's right for you. And I wish that I had this list when this happened to Moni.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing I craved.
Yeah.
So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah.
That's helpful. And we're here.
I think what you've just talked through for me just summarises how to handle yourself through that change curve.
Yeah.
Doesn't it really? It's like the how, that's the change curve, that's all the things you're going to start experiencing.
Absolutely. And when
But
you're
actually,
in the change,
it's hard to see.
you can't, your decision-making process is skewed because you're a bit of like, it's like white noise, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So
it totally is.
Yeah.
It totally is. And, today is about support, but I think there is, like Leanne said, there is living proof that, myself and Darren was in Thomas Cook for 26 years. I was in Thomas Cook for 34 years. And you just said to us this time last year, we'd be
sat on
the...
in 5 years?
Yeah, where you're going to be. And actually, you're going to be sat on the travel counsellor's sofa doing a broadcast.
Hosting a show.
Yes.
Hosting a show. I'd have gone, yeah, right, whatever. But, I know it's perhaps not what you want to hear right now, but we are living proof that actually there is light at the end of the tunnel, and you have to believe. You have to believe that. But it will take you time to get through to that place where you are in the acceptance point and, you are putting yourself out there and back into a better place. But there really is life at the end of the tunnel. Light at the end of the tunnel, and also a good light as well. There is companies out there that will value you, that, do care for you, that recognise your skill and ability. So please, believe in yourselves in that point. So as part of today's show, we also want to give you a little bit more support as well, and I'm going to hand over to Darren now, who's going to talk you through some of the tools that we've got. So over to you, Darren.
Brilliant, thank you very much. I think one of the things that I do want to shout out straight away, though, what Leanne spoke around about resilience and rebuilding yourself, that's the piece that I had to get really quick. So I remember going home, my wife was in bits, I had to go and do calls to people to tell them exactly what's happening in my role as a regional manager. And then my wife says, we've got to do something about this and we need to do it quick. She went out on we collapsed on the Monday. She went out on the Tuesday in the morning. She come home later on that night and she says, right, I've started my own business. And I was like, what? She says, I've started my own business. I'm not sitting there. I'm not letting this happen. And, I'll go red-faced now because I'll get a bit emotional about that one. And she went out, she built a business. She started her own cleaning company. And I'm like, cleaning company, she's earning more doing that than Thomas Cook paid her. You know, and she loves it, she gets a buzz from it. So for me, I think the resilience part, if you do anything, that's the quickest way.
And she inspired you. That was going back to what Leanne said about having that person that, yes, you need to be surrounded by people that know how you feel right now, so that you can almost, you know, you do need to wallow and feel sorry for yourself. You do. That's part of what you do. But there is some point. You're grieving. You're absolutely right there. You know, it is very much like you have lost someone. It really is, but you do get to a point where she probably was your inspiration.
You do.
I could have done with knowing Kay at that time.
I think you do, and I think the other part is you can't be the victim. Because actually you still need to pay your bills. You still need to put a smile on your face. You've still got kids. You've still got mortgages to pay, everything. And life has to go on. And I think to your point, if I'd known when I come up here on the 3rd of October that 3 days later I'd be sat in a TV studio doing interviews, now I would have absolutely myself. I'm going to be dead honest. You know, and for me to see the TV studio and then think, actually, I'm sitting in here doing it, and you're just talking from the heart. I think that's a big part of it. So I think life does go on. You'll learn from it. There's lots that you can take from it. But please reach out to everybody, especially in the travel industry, because everybody in the travel industry really cares. So I do want to touch on one of the things that we have got to support you. Now, this is something that I'm going to hold it up and just show it to you. Have I got a slide, please, at all? Thank you very much. So this is something I just want to talk you through. So this is something that travel counsellors do for people, and please reach out to us, because we can happily post you one of these or email you a copy over. So this is a career management guide that we have in our actual business. And part of the reason we do this, whenever we've got anybody who's coming from outside, so it could have been Monarch, could have been Thomas Cook, and now potentially it could be Flybe. It's not about recruiting you, that's not what we're here for today. It's all around giving you the help and the support, and that's something I just want to call out. This is not in any intentions a recruitment video. I just think, you know what, it's the travel industry family, and we just want to reach out to you and tell you that we are here. We're happy to have chats. We're happy to be a shoulder. You don't know us, and we're happy to vent the frustrations, because actually a lot of you are going through things we've been through before. So what's included in this career management guide, and this is what I really love, it talks you through the job market. It talks you through what your next steps are. There's pieces in there, obviously, where you're going to be able to reach out and understand what happens next in terms of, do I do this with the job centre? How do I go out networking? What am I entitled to? What is my next step? And I think there's so many questions that are going to be going through your head that if you don't get it right, obviously it doesn't matter. There is no right or wrong answer. Just make sure that you take every bit of information you can. And do you know what? Reach out to every single person that's ever been in the same boat as you, because you're definitely not on your own. Another thing that's in here, it talks you through again, is recruitment consultants. So it talks you through how to actually reach out, how to prep your own CVs. That was something very alien to me. I sat there, looked at my CV and thought, oh my God, this is 20 years old. What do I do with this?
Where do I start?
Even what is a CV? You know, and someone saying to me, don't stick references available and request at the end of it. And I'm thinking, I've always done that. And I've interviewed probably thousands of people in my job, and I've never not took any notice of it. So there is, it's a minefield. However, this is a really, really good support mechanism for you. What it'll also do is it'll also talk you through some support around how to interview, some of the must-dos, some of the things you don't do. And at the moment, this is probably a little bit early for you, and you might not be prepared for that. But coming back to what I said around resilience, take this advice, just have a look at it, see what you like, what you don't, ask us the questions. Myself and Jayne are always available here on this telephone number, which is 0161 464 5040. And you know what? We've even got our email addresses we'll send out to you. If anyone just wants to have a chat about anything and it's not even related to this, it's just questions you've got around what happened next when you were job seeking, we're more than happy to have that conversation with you. And I just think for me, I always get a buzz out of knowing that I've been able to help somebody because I was helped by a lot of people. So I think there's a little bit of payback, and I think, you know what, if we can do anything for you, we absolutely want to do that. Definitely. Another thing that we do really well as well at Travel Counsellors, and feel free to take advantage of this, it doesn't cost you a penny, is we do mini conferences and experience days. And what we mean by that is we've got them out and about. I think we've got Bristol, London and Stansted, and it's your opportunity to just come along, speak to people, hear what we're all about, and maybe just invest a little bit of your time engaging yourself back in a wider field, talking to people from the travel industry. And I think that's a big part of your, you know, your resilience and your bounce back. Don't shut yourself away. Don't think you're on your own, because you're definitely not. So what I also want to talk about is I just want to share a video with you if that's possible. And this will just show you a little bit more around travel counsellors. And it's just a piece for you to actually reflect on. Thank you. So what I wanted to say with that video, all of the footage that's on there is actually filmed by our travel counsellors. So if you're looking at that thinking, this is a professional shot, first of all, thank you. But genuinely, that's what our people are all about. So if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, do you know what happens next for me? I quite fancy the look of this. This is something I think I could probably reach out and do. You've all got the capabilities. So please, please, please reach out and talk to us. Part of our vision as an actual business is, for one, we want to be the most loved travel business. We want to be the most respected, and we also want to be the most caring. And I think that's a big, big part of how we actually treat our counsellors out in the field. So they get constant support, constant networking. We've got a head office up here in Manchester with over 350 people who work as support. We don't have hierarchy. So coming from your own business, again, there's no hierarchy. We don't deal with people in different ways. We're just one person that looks after customers and enjoys life. And people are set up to actually perform to the best of their abilities, and if they need anything at all, they just reach out to us. So again, if it's something that you do want to talk to us about, again, feel free. Another part that we just want to connect on as well is our mission. So when we're talking around transforming the travel experience for customers and the lives of our travel counsellors, what we're actually meaning by that is just making sure that people can get the most out of their life. And most of our people, in fact, everybody I ever speak to, they have two words, which is no regret. So whenever I talk to anybody or come into contact with them, everybody is loving life here at Travel Counsellors. And we're all smiling, we're all happy. So if it's something that you do actually want to talk to us about, again, please, please, please feel free to get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. And again, feel free to talk to each other. Come and see us, in groups, gangs, whatever you want to do. And if it's just to come and have a shoulder to cry on, or even a talk to me around what happens next, just reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. What I want to do now, I do want to hand over to Ange. So Ange obviously works in our recruitment team, but she's actually just going to take you through some pieces which hopefully will help and support you.
Thank you, Darren. So first of all, just to introduce the recruitment team. So we are the recruitment franchise team. We work on behalf of all the franchise owners. So our job is to work very closely with anybody at all who makes contact with the business wanting to know more. And our job is from the very start right the way through. So that doesn't stop when someone starts with us. It is a process that is continued the whole way through. And the team we've got here in Venus are a fantastic team. A lot of us have been here for, 20 years plus. And we've recruited a huge number of people who are keen to be business owners. And that's across everything. So completely from new, or if you have been in the industry previously as well. So just a bit about the business model. We are known as the most successful travel franchise business. And there are a number of ways that you can become a travel counsellor. So we have individuals that work across so many different platforms, and that can be purely as a tour operator. We have individuals who want to be a specialist within an area. We have corporate travel counsellors. We have a complete mix, cruise. The list is endless, really. And again, the great thing about the model is it can give you whatever you want it to be. We don't say no to very many things, and it's very much a conversation from the start of what you are looking to do. And like we've said a few times here, many individuals who do suddenly think actually now, and they may have thought of this previously, it isn't generally something you think about just now. You may have been thinking it for a number of years. I want to be my own boss. I want to run my own business. And with that, it is your business. We provide the platform, the tools, the training, absolutely everything that individuals need to set that business up. But ultimately, you are your own boss. It gives you the work-life balance that you choose to have. You don't have a commute. The hours of work that you choose to work are completely flexible to your home life. If you have a family and want to do the drop-offs at school, the sports days, that is completely up to you. And we provide everything in the background of that. So you're at your own choice with how you want to run that. From a margin perspective, the system that we use is a dynamic packaging system called Phoenix. It's our own system. It's built by us and it's owned by us. And again, you've got a choice of thousands of different commercial products on there that are put together from our commercial team, and you've got the overall choice of the margin on there. So again, that increases what you want the earnings to be for you and for your business. And when we say ambition, it is your ambition. For some people, they want to be earning as much money as they can, and they do, because it's completely completely uncapped earnings. For others, they do, you know, strive for the work-life balance. Again, that is completely up to you, but we don't set sales targets. We don't have anything like that in place. It's very much the ideas that you want to have from day one, and we'll help you to be able to achieve that. We don't have any internal competition, so from a head office perspective here, we have just over 340 head office staff that work purely in Manchester, and everybody who works here as part of our support team. So there are no sales staff, there's no call centres, there's no direct competition. And the business is very much run as a referral-based business, and that is very much word of mouth, referrals, really starting with your network of people that you may know. And I would say across the team, the biggest thing we do get asked is, where do I get my business from? Where do I get my customers from? And especially when you've never worked in travel previously, it can be, oh my gosh, where do I get people from? Or if you have worked purely on the airline side of it, everybody you may know is within travel. But again, there's so much information that we can give you from day one to talk about where you get those people from. I've been doing this job here for just over 5 years, and when I first started, I always thought, where do people actually get people from? But it really works, and like Liam said and Jayne touched on, you have to have a plan, and if you were doing this type of role, this is something that the team would talk to you about from day one, and we would make that plan with you, so you would be very clear on what you would need and how you would get there. And a really, you know, strong USP that we do have is the 100% financial protection. So we have a financial trust that we use, and no money is paid out to any suppliers until that customer has been on holiday and has returned. So again, with everything that is happening within the market currently at the moment, it's a huge selling point to be able to have for your customers, because they're protected and you're protected, and it's really helped the business with everything that has gone on recently, that we're not unfortunately in a position that is really affecting our business, where we've been able to protect that very early on. And then just on the next slide, again, this is something that if somebody was thinking, actually, it does sound as though something I might like to hear a bit more about, we have 5 different routes of entry to join us at Travel Counsellors, and they do range hugely from if you've worked directly in travel sales, or if you are brand new to the industry. So leisure and corporate sit very much hand in hand. If you were coming directly from a travel sales role, you would come through to the team and we would talk through the programmes in more detail. Return to travel is very much what it says on the tin. If you have previously sold travel and you've had a short break from the industry, then this would be the programme for you. Travel trade and academy do sit quite close hand in hand, really. Travel trade may be for many people who have worked in the industry but never directly sold, but I've got a very strong knowledge within travel. And then very much academy, and it is an extremely popular course, is for individuals who are brand new to the industry. And believe it or not, we get individuals from the police force, from the NHS, from so many different roles that suddenly think, actually, I've had enough of this industry now, I've done it for a long time. Something may have happened in their lives as well that's affected them directly, and they do think now is the time for me to look into travel. And one thing I would say about the team is we're not here to sell to you. The team that we work as part of, we very much get to know you as an individual. We get to know what you're looking for, what your passion is, what your needs are, and we are very honest in that conversation as well very early on. But you know, we are there hand in hand from the very beginning, and as part of what we're talking about today, we will also help you in any way that we can, whether it is helping with CVs, whether it is pointing you in the right direction for job boards. You know, we've done it so many times now over the last few years that it's something that we're very passionate about. And as I say, it may not be that the home working is for you, or it could not, you know, may not be for you right now, but it's interesting to know about it, because for so many, they suddenly think one day, do you know, actually, this is my time, this is time for me to actually do what I want to do. So any of the information you did want to know more on can be passed across to us from Jayne or Darren, or you can find any of our details directly online as well through our main website. But yeah, there are a few options.
Thank you so much, thank you. So really in summary, I just want to reiterate, we really do care And we really hope that this show has come across and shown our care today for all our travel industry colleagues there at Flybe. And just to reiterate what Darren said, you know, feel free to pick up the phone, even if it's just to talk to someone or, you know, talk to me and Darren about our experience from when we went through it. We are here for you. If you would like a copy of the career management guide, either drop us an email at people.travelcounsellors.com. Or just to reiterate, myself and Darren's direct number is 0161 464 5040. So whether we meet you or whether we don't, know that our heart is with you, and also know that we really, really do care, and there is light at the end of the tunnel, but we genuinely wish you all the very best of luck for your future. Thank you.